A scientist injects himself with a mysterious vaccine, and almost immediately his body begins twisting in horrifying ways. White foam pours from his mouth as he collapses to the ground, but when he gets back up, he is no longer human. He has become a zombie. He quickly attacks and bites 3 people, and within seconds, the infection begins spreading throughout the building. Soon, hundreds of people are trapped inside, with the gates locked and absolutely no way out. The film begins with a scientist named Yong Chol calling the police and making a disturbing statement. He claims that the only people who will survive are those who become stronger than before, without jealousy or competition. According to him, everyone will soon turn into zombies, and the antidote can be found in their own blood. Meanwhile, a science conference is taking place inside the building. The scientist leading the conference suddenly panics when he notices Yong Chol standing in the corner. He immediately leaves the stage and confronts him, desperately trying to convince Yong Chol that what he is doing is wrong. But Yong Chol refuses to listen. Instead, he injects the scientist with the same virus. Within moments, the scientist collapses in agony. His body twists uncontrollably as white liquid pours from his mouth. Seconds later, he transforms into a zombie. The people nearby have no idea what is happening, so they rush forward to help him. But the infected scientist suddenly attacks them, biting anyone who gets close. Those victims quickly transform as well, causing the infection to spread rapidly throughout the building. As the number of zombies continues to grow, a security officer realizes how dangerous the situation has become and immediately orders the entire building to be locked down. Meanwhile, another scientist named Si Jong hears terrified screams coming from all around her. Everyone begins running for their lives as complete chaos breaks out. During the panic, a disabled woman is knocked to the ground. Instead of abandoning her, Si Jong and her husband risk their lives to rescue her. Along with a few other survivors, they manage to escape into a nearby shop and quickly lock the door behind them. However, the zombies soon gather outside and try to force their way inside. Luckily, the lights suddenly go out, making it difficult for the zombies to see the survivors. But when they realize they cannot open the door, something terrifying happens. The zombies begin working together. They team up and repeatedly slam against the entrance, trying to break it down. Realizing the glass will not hold much longer, Si Jong notices another group of survivors hiding inside a restaurant across from them. She quickly signals them to turn off their lights, hoping the darkness will make the zombies lose interest. A girl inside understands her signal and immediately switches off the lights. The plan works. Unable to see the survivors anymore, the zombies begin wandering away. But just when everyone thinks they are safe, the zombies notice an illuminated advertisement board displaying a human figure. Mistaking the image for a real person, they suddenly turn around and begin attacking the door once again. With the door already beginning to crack, everyone inside is now in serious danger. Si Jong quickly comes up with another plan. She attaches several human-sized cardboard cutouts to the disabled woman's wheelchair, then pushes it out of the shop. As the wheelchair moves across the building, the zombies mistake the figures for real people and immediately chase after them. With the zombies distracted, Si Jong quickly helps the survivors from the opposite restaurant cross over to her shop. However, one girl is too terrified to move. Seeing this, Si Jong's husband risks his life and runs over to rescue her. Just as he reaches her, a zombie suddenly attacks them. He manages to push the girl towards safety just in time. Si Jong rushes forward, pulls the girl inside, and locks the door. But unfortunately, her husband is left trapped outside. With zombies closing in on him, Si Jong's husband runs into another shop and hides. Meanwhile, the zombies finally realize that the figures they were chasing are nothing more than cardboard cutouts. One of them signals this to the others, and the entire horde immediately begins searching for real humans again. Unfortunately, they soon spot Si Jong's husband. He desperately runs from one shop to another, trying to find a way back to the other survivors. But no matter how hard he tries, he cannot escape. The zombies eventually overpower him and kill him, leaving Si Jong completely devastated by the loss of her husband. Outside the building, police officers stand guard while countless zombies gather behind the glass, desperately trying to break through and escape. Back inside, Sejong tells the survivors that they cannot remain hidden forever. Even if the zombies don't get them, they will eventually run out of food and starve. Their only option is to find a way out. Sejong has also noticed something unusual about the infected. These zombies are capable of communicating and working together, but they can still be fooled. To test an idea, she sprays herself with a strong perfume and carefully moves near them. The zombies immediately react to the powerful scent, mistaking it for the presence of a human, and begin following her. Realizing that her idea works, the other survivors grab every perfume bottle they can find. They spray the perfume around and even smash bottles to spread the scent throughout the area. Confused by the overwhelming smell, the zombies are drawn away from the main path, giving the survivors the perfect opportunity to escape. But these zombies are smarter than they expected. Before everyone can make it out, the horde realizes what is happening and launches another attack. With the zombies rapidly closing in, Sejong climbs up and holds a lighter near the fire sprinkler sensor. Seconds later, the sprinkler system activates, sending water pouring down across the area. The sudden rush of water slows the zombies down, giving Sejong and the other survivors a much-needed head start. As more zombies rush toward them, Sejong grabs a fire extinguisher and sprays it directly at the horde, holding them back long enough for the group to escape. But the zombies continue chasing them all the way to the elevator. The survivors desperately fight them off with sticks and anything else they can find before finally getting inside and making their way to the third floor. There, the security team discovers Yang Chol, the scientist responsible for spreading the virus in the first place. When Yang Chol learns that the survivors used water to slow down the zombies, he simply laughs. He reveals that water doesn't actually weaken them. In fact, it makes them even more active. Even worse, once the water on their bodies evaporates into the air, the virus itself could become airborne. The group decides to take Yang Chol with them, unaware of just how dangerous and cunning he really is. While they are traveling in the elevator, Yang Chol suddenly stops it midway. Almost immediately, a horde of zombies attacks the group. Several people are bitten as the remaining survivors desperately fight them off. During the attack, Sejong notices something extremely strange. Despite standing right beside them as a normal human, Yang Chol isn't being attacked at all. The zombies completely ignore him, as if they somehow know that he is different. Meanwhile, a team of police officers and scientists arrives at Yang Chol's laboratory, where he conducted his experiments. They believe they might be able to find an antidote there. But while searching the lab, one of the officers accidentally opens a container, and an infected monkey suddenly leaps out and attacks them. Moments later, several other infected monkeys break free from their cages and begin attacking everyone inside the laboratory. As the situation spirals out of control, an officer manages to shoot the main monkey from behind. The moment that monkey dies, something bizarre happens. Every other infected monkey instantly freezes. The scientists quickly realize that the first monkey was somehow controlling all the others. After examining Yang Chol's research notes, the head scientist discovers that the virus follows what he calls a queen bee pattern. Just like a hive depends on its queen, all of the infected are connected to one primary host. If that host is killed, every infected creature connected to it will stop as well. Meanwhile, the remaining survivors retreat to the basement, where they come across 3 zombies tangled together. Knowing that even the slightest sound could expose them, the group carefully moves without making any noise. They successfully slip past the zombies and enter the security room. Once inside, they check the surveillance monitors and make a shocking discovery. Yang Chol is casually walking through the building, completely surrounded by zombies, yet none of them attack him. To prove his control over them, Yang Chol even orders one of the zombies to bite him. But the moment it tries, the zombie itself dies. After seeing this, Sejong finally realizes that Yang Chol is the key to stopping the entire outbreak. If they want to end this nightmare, they need to capture him. The disabled woman volunteers to stay behind in the security room, where she can monitor Yang Chol's movements through the surveillance cameras and guide the others. With her help, the group quickly tracks Yang Chol down, captures him, and drags him into an office. For a moment, they believe they finally have the situation under control, but they have seriously underestimated him. Yang Chol is somehow able to control the zombies using only his eyes. With a subtle gesture, he secretly commands the horde to attack the security room and kill the disabled woman. Her brother, who is one of the security officers in the group, realizes what Yong-chol has done and becomes furious. He wants to kill Yong-chol immediately, but first, he rushes back to save his sister. Unfortunately, he is already too late. The zombies break into the security room, leaving her completely trapped. Knowing there is no way out, she speaks to her brother over the radio and says her final goodbye. Moments later, the horde attacks her. Hearing his sister die leaves the security officer completely devastated, and his grief quickly turns into rage. Armed with nothing but a knife, he fearlessly charges into the zombies and begins taking them down one by one. Meanwhile, Yong-chol summons a massive horde to attack the remaining survivors. The zombies overwhelm the guards, leaving only 3 women alive. With no other option, the women drag Yong-chol into a storage room, tie him up, and make sure he cannot escape. However, they don't realize that even with his eyes closed, Yong-chol can still command the infected. At the same time, the head scientist from the laboratory contacts the survivors with an important breakthrough. According to Yong-chol's research, if they kill the very first infected human, every zombie connected to the virus should die as well. The survivors immediately check the security footage to identify the first infected person. They soon discover that it was the scientist who had been leading the conference, the same man Yong-chol injected at the beginning of the outbreak. Now that they know who the original host is, soldiers are sent into the building with one clear mission: find him and eliminate him. Just then, military helicopters arrive and land on the rooftop. Heavily armed soldiers storm into the building, shooting down every zombie standing in their way. Hearing the gunfire, the 3 women guarding Yong-chol are relieved, believing that help has finally arrived. But when they open the storage room door, they are met by a terrifying sight. An entire swarm of zombies is waiting outside. Yong-chol had secretly summoned them. The horde immediately attacks the women and frees their leader. Meanwhile, the soldiers continue fighting their way through the building, believing they can contain the outbreak. But before they can reach their target, an even larger wave of zombies suddenly ambushes them, completely surrounding the team. Soon, the soldiers begin running out of ammunition. With nothing left to defend themselves, they are completely overwhelmed by the zombies, and several of them become infected. Si-jong witnesses the horrifying scene and realizes that there may be only one way to end all of this. Yong-chol has to die. Determined to stop him, Si-jong comes up with a dangerous plan. She ties one end of a rope around a heavy counter and loops the other around Yong-chol's neck, hoping to use the weight to kill him. But at the last moment, she hesitates. If Yong-chol dies, she wonders who will be able to create a vaccine for the virus. That brief hesitation gives Yong-chol enough time to break free. He confronts Si-jong, but instead of allowing the zombies to attack her, he orders them to stay back because he wants to explain why he started the outbreak. Yong-chol reveals that his former colleagues refused to support his research. Filled with anger and resentment, he eventually created the virus as a way to erase jealousy and competition from humanity. In his twisted mind, turning everyone into zombies would finally unite people and create a world without conflict. As he explains his motives, Yong-chol suddenly breaks down in tears. Before he can do anything else, a new military squad arrives and captures him. As the soldiers drag Yong-chol away, the zombies immediately swarm towards Si-jong. She narrowly manages to escape into a secure room and lock herself inside. Moments later, Si-jong receives a call from her colleague, who had been studying the infected monkeys. He explains that when the original host monkey was killed, every other infected monkey connected to it instantly stopped. Hearing this, Si-jong suddenly realizes something crucial. The conference scientist they believe to be the original host is already dead, yet the zombies are still active. This means they were wrong about him. The true host is Yong-chol himself. Si-jong now understands that killing Yong-chol could instantly stop every zombie in the building. She leaves the secure room and desperately tries to convince the officers to eliminate him. But they refuse, believing that Yong-chol may be their only chance to develop an antidote. Si-jong insists that they don't need an antidote at all. If Yong-chol is truly the host, killing him should cause every infected person connected to the virus to drop dead. Unfortunately, the officers refuse to take that risk and continue with their plan to evacuate him. As the soldiers prepare to airlift young Chol out of the building, he secretly uses his powers once again. He summons a massive swarm of zombies who begin climbing up the helicopter ropes. Their combined weight eventually drags the helicopter down, throwing the entire rescue operation into chaos. With the zombies breaking loose and launching another massive attack, Sejong realizes that no one is going to listen to her. If she wants to end the outbreak, she will have to kill young Chol herself. She contacts her colleague in the security room and asks him to track young Chol's location through the surveillance cameras. Then, Sejong removes the jacket from a dead zombie and puts it on as a disguise. Blending herself into the infected crowd, she quietly begins making her way toward young Chol. Using the zombie's jacket as a disguise, Sejong quietly slips out of the building. Outside, complete chaos has taken over, with zombies destroying everything in their path. However, young Chol soon spots Sejong among the horde and immediately commands the zombies to attack her first. But Sejong is prepared. She quickly pulls the jacket over her head, completely masking herself from the zombies. Unable to identify her anymore, the infected become confused and begin spinning around aimlessly. Since young Chol is connected to all of them, their constant spinning also makes him dizzy and furious. Unable to control the situation, young Chol pushes his way through the horde and approaches Sejong himself. He grabs her and pulls the jacket away from her head. But by this point, the spinning zombies have become so disoriented that they begin collapsing to the ground. Young Chol also loses his balance, giving Sejong the perfect opportunity to strike. She quickly crawls underneath a nearby bus, dragging young Chol down with her. Moments later, the zombies recover and notice several human-shaped advertisements displayed on the bus. Mistaking the images for real people, the entire horde rushes toward the vehicle and begins attacking it. Their attack eventually causes the bus to catch fire. Sejong manages to escape just in time, but young Chol isn't so lucky. He becomes trapped inside the flames and begins burning alive. Then, something incredible happens. Because every infected person is connected to young Chol, the zombies suddenly begin burning as well. One after another, they collapse, until young Chol finally dies, causing the entire horde to fall lifeless to the ground. With the true host finally dead, the outbreak comes to an end, and the remaining survivors are safe at last. And with that, the film comes to an end.